Welcome back. Today we're getting back to basics and we're going to do a very basic scrapbook page with just a 12 by 12 background and a solid 8.5 by 11 cardstock. I'm Emilee and you've found Emilee's Paper Caper, where we're all about scrapping our stash and getting some pages done. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. Hit the subscribe button and the bell icon now so you don't miss any ideas. Whether you've been scrapbooking for decades like me, or if you're brand new to this hobby, going back to a basic scrapbook page is very satisfying and productive. Today I'm going to be working with 4 photos. I created a title. I'll tell you more about that title in a little bit. And I have 4 garden photos. They all happen to be vertically oriented. By using a 12 by 12 paper as the background and 1 sheet of 8.5 by 11, I can quickly get this page put together. The first step is to create 4 photo mats from this 8.5 by 11 paper. You do that by cutting it at 4 1/4 and then at 5 1/2. So you end up with 4 photo mats that are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This is pretty quick, and now I need to trim my 4 by 6 photos so that they'll fit perfectly onto these mats. Since the photos are already 4 inches wide, that means all I have to do is trim them at 5 1/4 inches. This leaves a beautiful 1/8 inch border around each photo when it's mounted on the photo mats. Most people print their photos in the 4 by 6 format, and almost always there is some waste that is not important to the photo itself. And so I never mind deciding where to trim off just a bit of the photo. If you're brand new to scrapbooking, this is also called cropping your photos. Now let's talk about the title a bit. I'm keeping the title for this page quite simple. I put the name of the plant, which is sedum, and I put the month and year. And I also had a little sticker said Hello Autumn, and I wanted this title to be a little bit smaller, so I've trimmed the card that I placed it on down just a bit. Your main page elements are your page title, journaling, and photos. And when you go back to basics, it's important to remember that. You want the main focus of your pages to be on your photos, and then you want to make sure you're telling the story by adding a page title and at the very least, a date. I have some other videos about journaling and telling your story, and I'll link those down in the description. Now what I'm doing is I'm going through and I'm adhering the photos to the photo mats. This is quick and easy because all the photos are the same size and orientation, and now I can arrange them on the page. Before I glue anything down on the page, I always like to experiment with placements and decide where I want the focus of the page to be. I want the photos to be a bit balanced. I've got a couple of close-ups of the moths and butterflies on the sedum plant, as well as an establishing shot that shows more of the garden. I'm always okay with layering or letting elements on a page overlap a little bit. And so I've decided to let the title overlap one of the photos. I'm actually going to trim that title piece a little bit smaller. This is one reason why I wait to adhere things until I have the arrangement exactly as I'd like. Now I think I'm pretty much ready to go, but at the last minute I decided that having that background page, the stripe, was going vertically, and I've decided to move it horizontally. There was something about how, since the photos are vertically oriented, that I wanted to balance that with a horizontal stripe rather than the vertical stripe. So I just turned that background pattern paper 90 degrees. Now I'm making a final decision on where to place the elements, and I'm going to go ahead and use my ATG gun to put the adhesive on the back of each of the photo mats. And I like to do this all at once so that I'm only picking up that ATG adhesive gun once, and then I can flip things over and get them adhered to the background page. I've left most of this video in real time. I've cut very little out of the whole process because I want folks that are new to this wonderful hobby to see that a scrapbook page does not have to take a ton of time, and it doesn't have to be especially elaborate by any means. It is okay to spend even hours or days on a layout, but sometimes it's very satisfying, and all you really need to do is a quick page that is simple and elegant. The only other element that I'm going to add to this page are some photo corners, just to kind of finish the page a bit. I have a slew of photo corners in my stash that I've had for many years, and there's no reason not to use these things. I do especially like how a photo corner finishes the look of a page, so I'm just going to add those to the 4 corners of the photos. Not every photo will have 4 photo corners. I'm only adding 4 to the page in total. Now I will add close-ups of the finished page. But if you're new to scrapbooking, I hope that this helps you see that it doesn't have to be super time-consuming, and you don't have to have a lot of supplies in order to complete a page and get your memories into a scrapbook. Here are videos with more advice for beginning scrapbookers, as well as information about page titles and journaling. Keep on scrapping, everybody.